Welcome back to the SSL Family Dad channel. We are out here on the chicken coop and goat shelter build. We've been building this for quite some time now, but today I want to show you something special. I've kind of built this outdoor workshop to demonstrate this new power station I got from Oukitel. This is the thing that I have been waiting for. It has just freed me from generators and all these other things when I need to get out onto the property somewhere, out in the woods somewhere, build a deer blind, build a playhouse, work on things down away from the house or out somewhere where I don't have power. And so I've built this little kind of outdoor workshop here just to demonstrate this thing. So I'll show you what we have. We've got several tools, just as about as demanding as you can get as far as power consumption is concerned. And this thing has handled it all very well. So let me show you what we've got out here, and I'll take you in and show you how this thing works. It's pretty sweet. So we're just out working on some trim today, and I'm using a bunch of old decking to make the trim for. I've got a bunch of cutoffs from decking, and I've got my new planer out here I'm testing out. So I'm planing all these down nice and flat and straight and square at 3/4 of an inch using this DeWalt planer. Now this thing tripped breakers in my shop on a 15 amp circuit. It really needs a full 20 amp circuit, and this thing handled it with absolutely zero issue. We've got the DeWalt chop saw out here. That's a 13 amp chop saw, 10 inch chop saw. That'll be used obviously to cut all of our angles and cut all of our trim pieces. So we've got the Porter cable air compressor, the pancake compressor out here. That will be used to just nail in temporarily a lot of the trim up on the walls then, and I'll put a few screws in it. We'll be using a screw gun out here, so I've got an extra battery charging off the power station. We'll be using our jigsaw as well to cut out some little things around some trim. We also have the rigid table saw. So that's a full 15 amp draw on the table saw as well, and it handles this with no problem also. But what this is a complete portable power station. They call it a solar generator, they call it a generator. It really doesn't generate power. It is a storage device. It has a huge lithium-ion battery in it and a giant pure sine wave inverter. So right now we are running at 85% battery charge, and this will show you the max or the output draw that you have, and then your input charge if you are charging it. This thing charges super fast, but it's got all the outputs that you'd expect on a charging station or power station like this. Lots of USB ports, your USB-C ports, which is what I use to charge my phone, which is what I'm recording with. It's got a really bright LED light on it. You can also run your cigarette lighter accessory type stuff, and it also has these DC ports on it, which I've never used. And then all your AC ports. There are 6 outlets, which I'm using every single one of them to power all these tools. And this is a 2,000 watt peak output, pure sine wave output on this thing. So it's going to run everything that a 20 amp circuit would run in your home. Power cable is stored at the top, and you can put other types of charging cables in there. This doesn't come with the cord that you need to actually hook this to solar panels, but it is a standard Anderson connector, and I'll show you where that goes. So you can plug it into AC power to charge, and again, this charges faster than any of the power stations I've had in the past. They call it a supercharge. It charges pretty quick. And then this is that Anderson connector. So you get this cable will go to, you can get them to cigarette lighter plugs for your vehicle or boat. You can charge it there, or you can hook this into a solar panel, a couple solar panels, which is what I'll do with it, and you can charge up to 500 watts at a time there. So it also does have overload protection, which is important on things like this when you're really pushing it. Now the one thing we can't do obviously is we can't run a bunch of these tools at the same time. This is one 20 amp breaker in the house, so if I try to run the planer and the saw at the same time, we'll probably trip it. It'll overload. You have to shut it off, turn it back on again, and then it works. So even when I do have power out here to this area, if I run a cord from the garage, I can't run tools like this or like the table saw. They just draw too much power and they trip breakers all the time. So the great thing is, even if I do run an extension cord out here, I can plug this thing in, keep it charging, and it actually acts like a battery backup. It allows me to run my 2,000 watt equipment off of it, but in between it's still charging up either from solar panels or from a power cord. And so it just allows me to run those higher amp draw items. This would be super handy for those of you who do not have maybe 20 amp circuits or enough power out in a garage or a shop or a barn. You could actually keep this charged up, or even plug it in while you're using it to a lower powered circuit in an outbuilding or something like that. Then you could use your air compressors and your big welder or other items that that require, you know, 2,000 watts or less, you could power those bigger items. It actually acts more like a battery backup or an uninterruptible power supply in that way. I have had several of these types of power stations. This is actually the third of these larger type stations, power centers that I've had. This one is by far my favorite. It charges faster, it's easier to carry around, and it has more power than any of the other ones that I've had. The other ones have been just shy of being able to run these power tools, which is really what I want. I want to be able to charge everything I need to charge when I'm off site. I want to be able to run my table saw, chop saw, you know, the planer now, which is a big draw. So this one right here is a full 15 amp draw. So, you know, in order to run stuff off site, I mean, think of the possibilities. You could just throw this stuff in a pickup truck, throw the power center in there, go out into the middle of the woods, build a hunting blind, you know, have all your tools that you need to build something like that. You know, this thing could power an off-grid cabin, move it around. You can run a refrigerator off it, you can recharge it, you can run lights and all that stuff, work at night. So having this thing around the house is going to be super useful, and I'm sure you're going to see it in lots of future videos here as well. So I will, of course, put links. This is actually a brand new product. It's available on Kickstarter only. I'll put a link to their campaign, which actually started yesterday, and they have these things. I think they're in limited supply, but they're at a super discount. So check them out. These things are normally can be pretty expensive. The last one that I got was upwards of $1,500, I believe, and they've got these at a great deal right now. So check out this power station over on Kickstarter, and of course I'll put links to everything in the description as always. So just a quick update today on how I am powering the mobile workshop out here on the homestead. Of course, check out the next video to come out on the chicken coop goat shelter. We'll hopefully get all the trim and doors and everything put in on this build and get our chickens moved in there. It should be pretty cool. And if you're new to the channel, of course, we'd love to have you subscribe and tag along and check out not only the chicken coop and goat shelter build, but all of the SSL family videos to come. Lots of good stuff coming out. Love to have you with us. Don't forget to hit thumbs up. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one.